I just started a new career, and obviously, as you can see from the map, we don't have, this is a 1939 start, so UK and France are not yet red. So we're at the very start of the war in 1939, and I like to role play. So I didn't necessarily want to start at Wilhelmshaven. In fact, I thought it was kind of curious that when you pick the U4 and you go with the Type IIA, I know why they did it, because the range on that boat makes it difficult if you wanted a Wilhelmshaven start to have to either traverse the canal or go through the Skagerrak to get out to your patrol zone. And until you have the your sea legs in terms of managing your crew and how to set that up, and if you're interested, you can take a look at my crew setup video for the 2A. So I understand why the devs would, if you want a 2A start, they would put you in Wilhelmshaven, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted to treat the 2A more like a training boat, and I think that's historically kind of the way it was. So I want to maybe do my first run, my first mission in the 2A, and then I'd like to try to advance a little bit, or have an opportunity to advance up to the 7C. The 7C is my favorite. But anyway, there's a lot of discussion, and people are talking about blueprints and progression, and what's the earliest you need to get to a 7C from 1939, and it can be challenging, because as the missions pop up, there'll be one up here for tonnage war, and then I think there might be another one for, somebody can correct me, but I think it's Atlantic Theater or something like that gives you the second. So that gets you up to a, that gives you 2 blueprints, and the way the blueprints work is you can't just save them up to buy a 7C or a 7B, or at least there's no point in saving them up, because the devs require that you progress, that you go from a 2A to a 2D to a 7B to a 7C. So yeah, you could save up, wait till you have 3 blueprints, but it won't matter. You'll still have to buy them one by one, and each blueprint gets you 1 step up. And the thing that's challenging, or that people have issues with, is there's a campaign that crops up over here in Norway, and I'll let you discover that for yourself. But one thing people say is, well, is there any way to progress to a 7B in time for the Norwegian campaign? And usually the answer is, well, no, because the second mission that you need for your second blueprint to get to the 7B comes up at the same exact time that the Norwegian campaign comes up. So then you find yourself, trying to complete one campaign for the blueprint before the time runs out on the Norwegian campaign. And what I'm going to show you, let's take a look at my, I've got my sub here in Kiel, but I want you to notice it's, as I showed you, it's early war, and there's my 2A. And it's all decked out. And if I go into it, you can take a look. Yeah, I've got my full allotment of torpedoes. They're all ready to go. And we've got enough food stores. Let's see, do I have any money left? Well, I've got enough. That's plenty for my first patrol. I topped off my med kits to 5 and my replacement parts, but I'm probably not going to need them. And I even picked up some oil. Let's see, what else do we have here? Flak is fine. So that's all good. And I take a quick look at my crew settings, and I've got them all set up. I've got, let me make sure we got no sailors on the ob scope. And we've got all that done. We've got our squads and our boat schedules. So everything's ready to go. And we've got some nifty new skins to put on our sub. I like to use the little captain's wheel there, because it reminds me of an app that I used to use called Mobo a long time ago, electronic maneuvering board. But anyway, this we're all set. So now the question is, how in the world did I get this setup? Well, let me show you. I'm going to go back to the menu. And we're going to go to New Game. And what I want you to notice, and I think this is very clever that the devs made it this way, and I think it's by design, but you can tell me if you think it's an exploit or not. But again, to me it was curious that the U4 would start in Wilhelmshaven. But what I want you to notice about the first 3 missions, it's the date. Notice that September 39, September 1, 1939 is the start date for the U4. If you come down to the U47, you notice that it's a Type 7B, but its start date is also September 1st, 1939. You come down to the U48, its start date, September 1st, 1939. So you can start with any one of these scenarios, and you can essentially start the war. Now, what's the difference between the 47 and the 48? Well, it's just your port. So you've got the 48, which is in Wilhelmshaven, and you've got the 47, which is in Kiel. So for my scenario, I'm going to choose the U47 in Kiel. Now, if you don't want to play this scenario where you have to sail out through the Skagerrak or go through the canal, you could choose U48 and you could start in Wilhelmshaven and achieve the same effect. But I'm going to start with U47. I'm going to do my typical 100% game, all those settings, and we'll just go with the default. And here we are with the 7B in the port of Kiel.
Good luck on your next mission, Captain. Stay safe out there.
Some of you might see where I'm going with this, but let's continue. And what I'm going to do right off the bat is I'm going straight to the warehouse. And
take a look.
Whoops, show me what you got. Well, let's take a look here just for a second. Notice I have 4,000 credits. And I've got the usual allotment of stuff, particularly, notice how many torpedoes I have. I've got, what, I got 7, and then I have to buy some more. I'm going to go, instead of outfitting this ship and using my 4,000 credits, I'm going to go to, I want to command a different U-boat. And notice that if you start with the 7B, it has unlocked everything behind it. So where does that leave you? Well, it leaves you in a position where if I took the 7B out, I could do the one tonnage war mission and have the 1 blueprint I need to unlock the 7C, and then in time, 1941, this one comes around, and I would, endeavor to get my next blueprint before 1941, and I'd be able to unlock that one as well. But if I click on the 2A, notice it costs, I've got 4,000 credits, it costs 2,000 to change the U-boat. I'm going to take that option.
Change course.
So now here I am. I've got my 2A in 1939. And I did notice, and maybe the devs can check into this for me. I did notice that at one time I did this, and after I bought the U-boat, or the 2A, it showed my credits were still at 4,000. Let's go see.
You need, officer.
Let's go see if that's still the truth. Let's see. Show me
Take
what
a look.
you got. And am I at 4,000 or 2,000? Yeah, I'm at 4,000. So that's a bug. The first time I did this, it correctly reduced my credits by 2,000. So that should be fixed. And in fact, if people wanted to take this route, I would even suggest that. The other thing that's interesting is as you go through the items and so forth, particularly the torpedoes, because the last boat had a loadout that exceeds the total kept capacity. It had like 7 torpedoes. This only fits 5. It fully loads my boat with new ones. In fact, normally if I had 2,000, I would actually have enough where if I wanted to swap out these T2s that carried over, I could put in the T1s. In fact, I'm trying to think, is there a way I could have while I had the 7B up, I could have gone into the warehouse and I could have removed all the T2s and only let the T1s carry over. That would have been a little bit of a cost-saving benefit. But anyway, and the other piece of this is that it might be, one option might be is that they just make the cost to change the boat 4,000 credits, and then you come in, after you do what I just did, it puts you at 0 credits, and you've got everything that you need in the 2A to start from there. And people say, "Oh well, that's an exploit. That's not intended." It seems to me. I mean, why would the devs give you 247? And it just happens to work. A U47 and a U48. You've got your choice of Kiel or Wilhelmshaven. So why not? I don't think it's an exploit, but you tell me in the comments below. But what this allows me to do is I can play my first mission. So we go.
Serve as the liaison officer, relaying orders directly from the Admiralty.
We can go into our mission selection.
These are current orders from the headquarters.
And
your eyes only.
Notice that my first mission for the 2A, it's the first. Those are the typical missions for the 2A. They all start out with low difficulty, and notice they haven't changed the location. I think as a challenge, and maybe I would challenge you all, is see if you can do this mission. Pick whichever map option is the furthest away. Maybe, in the scenario I'm about to run, it's either going to be this one or that one. I tend to like this area better because there's a lot of activity moving east to west. So I'm going to pick that one. And instead of traversing the canal, the challenge is I'm going to use the 2A and I'm going to go through the Skagerrak, complete that mission, come back, and see if I can get back to the port of Kiel with the fuel I have and with the crew assignments that I've set up. And again, if you want to watch my crew assignment video, you can see how I got the 2A setups that you can do stuff like this. But that's my challenge, and that's the way I'm gonna play this one. So I'm gonna select that. And then what do I do in terms of I should at this point be like almost 0 credits. So I've got 0 credits in a 2A, and I go out and I complete my first patrol. If I have enough credits at that point, which would be 2,000, to buy back into the 2D, I would consider that first easy patrol my training mission, so to speak, with the 2A, and then I would just allow myself to advance to the 2D. Then maybe after I complete one of the other campaigns, maybe not Tonnage War, but maybe Mine Layer or something like that, maybe I'd allow myself to say, okay, I'm going to upgrade you to the 7B, or alternatively, complete one of the missions, maybe do a Enigma or something like that, or do a few missions under Tonnage War. Maybe you get past the first one and you allow yourself to go to a 2D. 2D might be, or I'm sorry, a 7B. 7B might be easier to do the Mine Layer missions because you've got the extra torpedo tube, so you might wait for the 7B to do Mine Layer. But eventually you'll get to the point where you complete Tonnage War. You'll have one blueprint, and the answer to the question, well, how many blueprints do I need to get to a 7C before the Norwegian campaign? The answer is 1. Technically, if you follow this approach, the way the devs have given us these options, you can start with the 2A and you'll need 1 blueprint, and you get to the 7C and you can complete you can take on the Norwegian escort missions with a 7C if you like. But anyway, I'm putting it out there. I will accept my jester hats with gratitude. Thank you. But you tell me, you think it's an exploit or just a clever way to role play the kind of game that you want, and kind of manage your own choices. Thanks for watching.